Hi everyone, this is Aga from EurekaCrystalBeads.com and I'm here with a super fun beading tutorial for you. But before I get started, just a quick reminder to check out the rest of our channel, and if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss any of our fun tutorials. In this video, I'll show you how to make these really easy and quick to whip up earrings that are quite extraordinary. I really love how they flow and dangle. They're very dangly, not stiff at all. And to make them, you don't need a lot of materials or a lot of skill. So even a beginner can make these. For this particular pair that I'm going to finish today, I used supplies from our Eureka November 2025 LITE collection. This is the inspiration photo for this collection. It's called the Bubblescence Collection LITE, and I really love these colors. This is like a unicorn palette almost, and I think it works so well. It's so playful with this kind of a long dangly earring. And yeah, let me tell you a little bit about the supplies that you need to make those. Starting off with our crystals, you're gonna need as many 8mm chatons as you want, because obviously you can make these even longer. You can make an earring with just one of these segments. This is one that I made with supplies from our October collection, Opulence Eco. And as it turns out, twisted bugles work as well as regular smooth ones. And as you can see, this looks as nice as a long one. So you can just go crazy. You can even make this into a bracelet, because why not? It's such a multi-use pattern. So you're gonna need as many of those 8mm chatons as you want. And make sure they have a pointy back, because some of them are a little bit flatter. This is a 1088 cut, and the back is more pointy. This is important because the flat chatons are not going to lay so tightly within the bezel, and these ones will be encapsulated perfectly by those beads here. This is what it looks like in the back, by the way. Then you're going to need some 4mm bicone beads. And for the 4-stone version of the earring, you're going to need 16. So you're going to need 4 times the amount of segments that you're gonna make. That's how many of those 4mm bicone beads you're gonna need. Then here I have like 3/4 of the Miyuki seed bead mix that we had in the collection. And out of this, you're gonna need the 6mm bugle beads, the 11/0s, and the 8/0s, and that's around 11/0s and 8/0s, and actually a few of the 15/0s as well. So it's a perfect mix to make those very earrings. You can play around a lot, because you get a lot of colors in here. You get 3 colors of 11/0s, 2 colors of 15/0s, and well, just 1 color of 8/0s, but it's a perfect pink. So I think it's a really great mix of seed beads. Next up, you're gonna need some 3x2mm rondelle beads. These were also in the collection, but as you can see, you can just as well substitute them for 3mm pearls. So I would wager a 3mm fire polish would work as well. Finally, we're gonna need some findings, and here I have some earring findings. This is just a simple earring post with a side-facing loop, which is perfect for this, but you can use any earring finding that you like. For tools, you're just going to need a size 12 needle. Size 11 or 10 could work as well, but there's a lot of bead passes, so I just like using the size 12. And on it, I have my 6-pound fire line in the color crystal, just not to darken those beautiful bicone beads that I'll be using. I also have my thread cutters, and that's basically it. Let's start beading. Alright, so for this pair with 4 segments, here is the beading plan. We're going to make every segment separately with less than half a wingspan of thread, so not a lot. And I like starting with the top. I go around, I attach the earring finding as I go right away, finish my thread, I start the next one, make it, attach it to the previous one, finish the thread, start this third one, do the same, finish the thread, and finally make that last one. I think that's just more convenient rather than making all of them and then connecting them, because they share these rondelle beads in here. So that's just more convenient to join them as you go. And I'm telling you this because I actually did make them separately just to show you how to join them without having to start each of them from scratch. But as you go through the earring, I do recommend that you just join them as you go. Alright, I have my less than half a wingspan of thread on my needle, and I'm going to start in the front by picking up 4 bugle beads. Now I'm going to pass through them, slide them down my thread, and pass through them again to create a circle. Or a square, to be honest. And at this point, I like tying my thread because we're not going to need that tail anymore. So I just cut it off the spool, just enough to weave it in later. And I'm going to tie 3 simple flat knots. And I'll hide that tail by passing through one of the bugles. Just like that, and I could feel that the knot is hidden within this bugle bead. Now I'm going to pass through all of those bugles again, but in between them, I'm going to add an 11-0. And for these earrings, I've decided that I'll be using those silver aligned crystal, I think AB 11-0s. So I'm just passing through the next bugle. I'm adding another 11-0. Through the next bugle, a third one, and my last one. Make sure that it pops in just about like that. And you can actually cut off that tail thread since the knot is hidden inside the bead. Alright, so my thread is coming out of this bugle here. I'm going to pass through the 11-0. And I'm going to add a sequence of 8-0, 11-0, 8-0. And you can use any color of 11-0 that you want. You have 3 to choose from, so you can match them to colors of the crystals even. I'm just using the crystal colored ones. And I'm passing through the 11-0 that my thread was coming out of, placing those beads sort of on top here, like that. I'm now going to pass through the next bugle in the next corner 11-0. And I'll add the same sequence on top of this bead. And that's 8-0, 11-0, 8-0. Through the bead again, and I'm going to try and pass through the bugle as well. Oh, and the next 11-0, look at that, all in one move. Another sequence. 8-0, 11-0, 8-0. I go around through the bugle. It's just easier if you go through the bugle right away because the beads are quite tight right now. I pass through the 11-0. And I add my 4th and final sequence of 8-0, 11-0, 8-0. And I pass through that 11-0 and the next bugle again, plus the 11-0 after it. And now I have these sequences on all 4 sides of my square. I'm going to step down through the 8-0 and the 11-0 on the other side of this sequence of 4. Now my thread is coming out of this 11-0 in here. And I'm simply going to connect the 11-0s on top of those sequences with 3 more 11-0s. So we're actually already closing that bezel. So I pick up 3 11-0s, I look at which direction my thread is coming out in, so it's this direction. I pass through the next 11 0 on top of the sequence, on top of the 8 O's, and I connect them. You know what though, for the sake of this tutorial, I'll be using a different colored 11 O's in the back so that you can clearly see what I'm doing, because they get quite crowded here and it's not that easy to see. So I'll be using different colors. So I pick up those 3. I look for the next 11 0 in the direction in which my thread is coming out in, pass through it, and you just connect those 11 O's on top. And don't pull tight yet because we're already going to put in our stone. 3 more through the next 11 0, super easy, just like that. 3 more through the next 11 0. And my last sequence of 3, and I pass through that last 11 0, which was the first one as well. And without pulling tight yet, I pick up my stone. I make sure that it's facing away from me because that's the back that we were doing now. And that's when you pull tight. And there you go, you have your stone bezeled. Now we're just going to need to close that back a little bit more. I'm going to pass through all of those beads again. So the 11 O's on top of the pink 8 O's. And the pink 11 O's that we just added, I just make sure that my stone doesn't fall out as I go around. So I just pass through all of those beads again. It's useful to hold on to your stone as you pass through those beads. All right, now I'm going to tighten it up a little bit more still. And to do that, I'm going to pass through the first 2 of the 3 beads in the first sequence that I added. So I want my thread to come out of the middle one. I'll pick up a single 11 0 and I'm using a different color, why not, so that you can see a little bit more clearly. So this purple is actually quite similar to this pink. Both are very pretty. In any case, you look for the middle 11 0 in the next sequence here, and that's where you pass through. Just like that, they should start getting a little bit more tightly together. Another one, looking for the middle 11 0 in the sequence of 3. Third one. And the fourth one. As you pull tight, you'll see that they get pretty close together, and you can just pass through all 4 of those new beads that you added, just so that they lay down closely and that the entire bezel is nice and tight around your stone. All right, that's done. So that's your bezel ready. Now let's add some bling on the side. For this purpose, I'm going to step down through the middle 11 0 that I just added, the third one, then through the 11 0 that's connected to the 8 O's, up through one of the 8 O's, and then down the other 8 0 directly without passing through the 11 0 that's on top of them. We just want them to get a little bit closer together like this, a little bit at an angle. And over here, you're just going to add a bicone, nothing else, just the bicone. And you're going to go up the next 11 0 in this next sequence. Like that, it just pops in. I pass down the other 11 0 in the pair. Add my next 4mm bicone, up the first of the 8 O's in the next pair. Make sure that the bicone pops in, down the other 8 0. I add my bicone, up the 8/0, down the other 8/0, pull tight, and here's my last bicone, up the 8/0. That's what it looks like at this point. Down this other one, through the first bicone that I added, and that's where you're ready to add the final row with the rondelle beads, and that's the point when you connect all of the pieces. So at this point, all of the segments that I made are at the same stage, so they have all of the bezels finished. I added the bicones, but I haven't added the faceted rondelles yet. So let's see the sequence that I did here. I'm gonna do the same over here. So let's imagine that I just made this first segment with the sapphire blue glitter chaton inside. And now I want to add my earring finding and my rondelle sequences around. I'm going to start with the earring finding, and for that I'm going to pick up an 11/0, then a rondelle, then my earring finding, and I want to make sure that I'm picking it up the right way so my thread is coming out towards the left. So that's how I pick up my earring finding. Also make sure that it's closed, which this one is not. There, now it is. So make sure it's closed. Pick it up. Add another rondelle and 11/0, so that's what I got. And quite simply pass through the next bicone. So I added the bicones, and now I'm passing from one to the next. Just like that. And you want your earring finding, if you're using a similar one to mine right now, so with a side facing loop, or if you're using a jump ring, make sure that the jump ring or the loop is held on the sides by these rondelle beads rather than just the thread. So my thread right now is coming out of this bicone here. And on the sides of your little bezels, you're going to pick up an 11/0, a rondelle, and another 11/0. Very simple. And you look for the next bicone, pass through it, pull tight, make sure that nothing got loose. And now I'm at the bottom of my little bezel, and actually the tops and bottoms for the connections in the middle of the earring are going to be slightly different. So it's not going to be 11/0 rondelle 11/0, it's going to be 2 15/0s rondelle 2 15/0s. So I'm picking up 2 15/0s rondelle 2 15/0s, and you could do an 11/0 rondelle 11/0, but I tried this. I tried every possibility and every option for connecting these pieces, and this is just the best option. They have the most flexibility and movement, and they're not constricted or too stiff. So I just opt for this. Now I'm on the side, and that's when I pick up an 11/0, a rondelle, and another 11/0. And I just pass through that first bicone again. Make sure it's pulled tight. And that's going to be it for this segment, but just to make everything more sturdy, I'm going to pass through all of those beads in this row again. So through the bicones and the sequences with the rondelles that I added. And just to make sure, I made a full circle again, but just to make sure, I'm going to go through that section with the earring finding, and then I'm gonna tie a knot, weave in my tail, and that's gonna be it for this segment. Time for the next segment, which is going to be the pink one. I look at where my thread is coming out of. It's coming out of this bicone, which is the perfect place to connect it with this first segment. and they're going to share the rondelle as I mentioned. So you just need to pick up 2 50-nils here, 2 50-nils, and I'm passing through this rondelle that they're going to share, the one that also has 2 50-nils on either side, just through the rondelle, and I'm lining them up sort of so that I know which way to pass through that rondelle. Picking up 2 more 50-nils. And now I'll look for the next bicone in the pink segment. And when I pull tight, voila, they share a rondelle now. And it's a nice little X over here in the back. Now I'm on the side, so I'm going to pick up an 11 rondelle 11-0. I pass down through the next bicone. And now I'm at the bottom, and if I want to attach the next segment here, and I do, I'm going to pick up the rondelle with the 15-nils again. There it is, 2 15-nils rondelle, 2 15-nils. I'll look for the next bicone. Adding it in. 11 rondelle, 11-0 on the side. And once again, I suggest that we pass through all the beads in this row again, just to reinforce it. I will now tie a knot, weave in my tail, and attach the next segment in the exact same way. Now for this last one, I already attached it. I added my rondelle on one side, and now in the bottom here, I'm not going to add the rondelle with 2 15-nils because I'm not attaching any more segments, so I'm just going to add the same thing as on the side, which is 11-0, rondelle 11-0. Same on this side. Now I'll just reinforce this row, tie off my thread, weave in my tail, and that's gonna be it for the earring. And the earrings are done. Look at them. Aren't they just adorable and very sparkly? I love these colors with the sparkle because the sparkle is like super classy and glamorous, but the colors are absolutely not. They're just fun. They're like, you know, a pastel rainbow unicorn palette. I really love them. I also really love how flowy they are and dangly. And think of how cute and how awesome that will be if you made them with like 5 or even 6 segments. They will be long statement earrings and so fun. Really fun is the key word in here. Let me know in the comments if you like this pattern, if you would like to make a bracelet with it maybe, because look at that. This will be so awesome, so cute. As I mentioned, this particular pair was made with the Bubblescence LITE collection, which is our mid-November 2025 collection. It's one of the light collections, which means that it is smaller than our regular Eureka collections, more focused, more project-driven. But I think it really gives you a lot of creative opportunities as well. You can naturally get all of those supplies separately at eurekacrystalbeads.com. If you like this tutorial, make sure you give it a thumbs up and give us a follow. And make sure to join our Facebook group, the Beaders Nook at Eureka Crystal Beads. The link will be down in the description, as well as the link to all of those products in the collection if it's still available. Meanwhile, thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video. Bye!